guys, it's Ray, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my podcast. This is episode 4, and this is also the first extended episode of my podcast. So today I'm going to talk about what an extended episode is, and then get right into it. So an extended episode for me is going to be a longer episode, or at least I'm assuming it's going to be longer, and it's going to have a little bit more structure to it. So in the past, what you have heard, in the past 3 episodes, what you have heard from me is like just me blabbing on for like 10 to 30 minutes. This is going to be a little bit more structured, and I'm going to have like actual articles that I'm referencing and stuff like that. So with each extended episode, I'm going to have a couple interesting facts or topics, like just short little things that I found. And then I'm going to have 3 current event articles and 1 extended research topic. All of the sources for everything will be linked in the description down below, and feel free to leave suggestions for future episodes in the comments. I want to start having a little more structure to my podcast in general, so I might start doing these extended research topics almost daily, but the actual extended structure of the extended episode is probably only going to be weekly, and I hope to make it like a Sunday thing, just because that's the start of the week, or at least in my brain it is. So in today's extended episode, I'm going to be talking about peppered moth caterpillars, dogs and music, college in the current pandemic, how to make a less toxic blue dye, Bill Withers, and Dyson Spheres. So the first thing I want to share is this little picture that I found on Facebook. Like, I never really do much on Facebook except for like model horse hobby stuff, but I was just scrolling through Facebook earlier and I found this picture about peppered moth caterpillars. And it says, researchers recently demonstrated that twig mimicking caterpillars of the peppered moth can sense a twig's color with their skin. Caterpillars that were blindfolded changed the color of their bodies to match their background. Okay, first of all, how do you blindfold a caterpillar? And second of all, this is really cool. It's like a chameleon, I guess. I don't even know if chameleons like can see the color that they're blending to, or if that's by skin as well. But I just thought that was really cool. Alright, so the next small topic that I'm going to talk about is dogs and music. So thanks to my friend Adam, this kind of was brought to my attention, I guess. I kind of already knew about this, but he had, I guess, brought this question to my attention. I guess he didn't necessarily ask the question, but I had a little conversation with him about this. So I have a link in the comments, or in the description, to an article that kind of talks about this. It's an article from 2012, but it talks about this. So apparently, according to the article, dogs pick up on moods, so it is only natural that the same effect certain types of music have on humans is the same effect that it has on dogs. So basically, dogs like really feel music the way we do. So music with heavy guitars and an overall more aggressive tone has been shown to cause more aggressive behavior in dogs. And then on the other side, calming music such as soothing harp arrangements can calm and relax any dog. So if you are having a nervous wreck of a dog and you need some music to calm them down, try some soothing harp arrangements. Alright, so this next article comes from the New York Times. All 3 of my current event articles come from the New York Times. That's probably not going to be the same for every week, but I was kind of pressed for time because I had just come up with this idea today. And it's called College Made Them Feel Equal. The virus exposed how unequal their lives are. So this article takes us to Haverford College in Pennsylvania, and it opens with, one student sat on a vacation home on the coast of Maine, another struggled to keep her mother's Puerto Rican food truck running, while meat vanished from Florida grocery shelves. As one young woman's father, a private equity executive, urged the family to decamp to a country where infections were falling, another student's mother in Russia couldn't afford the plane ticket to bring her daughter home. So I think this article, the reason I picked it was because it shows the other like negative effects the virus has on our current society. Like, not only is the social distancing driving everybody a little stir crazy, and not only is there a virus that's like facing the world, but it's having some other odd effects that I think a lot of people didn't realize would happen. So the outbreak has put America's class divide on full display, and this likely happened in other countries too. I can't speak for other countries. I can only really speak for an American. I can't really speak for America either, but I'm sure in other countries this has been present as well. So the college, and most colleges, they bring students together. They kind of even the playing field. Everyone is equal, and it's also a very diverse environment. But when they're sent home, they go back to having this incredibly different situation, to like going back to what it was before. The class divide is more visible when all these students are home. So one student, whose mother's from Puerto Rico, speaks of her troubles growing up. Tatiana Lathion, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Never thought she would go to college until she got a full ride scholarship to Haverford. So this just shows that college does some amazing things for people. She didn't think that college would be something she would ever achieve, and then she got a full ride. And this is also affecting students in public schools as well. Just in my county is incredibly diverse, especially geographically. I live in like the county seat. I live in town basically, so my internet is fine. But I know several people who, as soon as you get further and further out in the county, like further away from the county seat, your internet just gets worse and worse, and so does your cell service. So I know plenty of people that don't have internet at home, and so the school has offered has a grant to give students free hotspots. The only thing is these hotspots don't work, because more often than not, when a student doesn't have internet, it's not because they can't afford it, it's because it doesn't work where they are. Service is really bad in some of the outskirts of my county, and also internet doesn't reach all the way out in the far countryside. Like, it just doesn't. So, and if you do have internet out there, it's really bad. One of my friends, every time the microwave is running, he like cuts out of a Discord call. So I think this is just one of those things that a lot of people don't realize, because I know plenty of people who haven't been able to log on to Canvas and log into their classes because they don't have internet, or at least a strong enough internet connection to access this stuff at home. Alright, so this next article is a really cool little sciencey one for you. And it's called, How Do You Make a Less Toxic Blue Dye? Start with red beets. Again, this is from the New York Times. So true blue dye is often made by mixing certain minerals with elements like mercury or lead, but this leaves the dye to be very toxic. And Brazilian researchers found that you can mix chemicals with beets to make blue dye. I know what you're thinking. Don't beets just like stain everything pink and do a very good job at staining it? Yes, they do stain everything pink. Everything. But when the molecular pattern of the pigment extracted from a beet is altered, a new color can be made. This color is called beet blue, and it seems to be completely non-toxic. It remains unpatented, so anyone can use it. Basically, this scientist, this researcher, he just started having like truckloads of beets sent to him. Eventually, he found he could just like create the dye himself, basically. And he was able to alter the molecular pattern of the pigment that was extracted from a singular beet, and he made a blue dye, which is just really cool. This happened Friday? It happened Friday, when he had a demonstration of him actually doing this. So he's allowing anyone to use this technology to make beat blue, because I believe it just sounds like he wants a less toxic blue dye to be in the world. Okay, so this last article is a bit of a sad one, and it's about Bill Withers. So again, this is from the New York Times. It's titled, Bill Withers, who sang Lean on Me and Ain't No Sunshine, dies at 81. Bill Withers, a one-time Navy aircraft mechanic who, after teaching himself to play the guitar, wrote some of the most memorable and often covered songs in the 1970s, including Lean on Me, Ain't No Sunshine, and Use Me, died on Monday in Los Angeles. He was 81. According to his son, Bill Withers had heart problems and died in the hospital, most likely because of these. And he's actually quoted saying, "I wouldn't know a pop chart from a Pop-Tart," and I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. He told the Rolling Stones this when he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Bill Withers, I didn't quite realize it, but Bill Withers actually had a lot of impact on my life. Lean on Me has always been one of those songs that's just kind of struck me hard, I guess. I sang it or something, I can't remember. It had like some sort of important impact for my like 5th grade graduation or something. I can't quite remember. I think I sang it with like my entire 5th grade class. So there's that, and it's also has been used in so many plays that I've been in. It's one of those songs that like I always use it as like a curtain call or something, or if it has like a bittersweet ending, I always use Lean on Me. And last year I was in advanced theater, and when I was in advanced theater, I wrote a 45-minute play with 4 other people. And in this play, we had a lot of technology use. We did a lot of like videos and a lot of visual stuff, but we also had music to like really drive the story. Our opening song was Ain't No Sunshine, and then Lean on Me and just the 2 of us were in the play. So I didn't quite realize how many Bill Withers songs we had in the play, but we had 3 apparently, and those 3 songs all really had a huge impact on the play, and they really drove the play. So thank you, Bill Withers. Sad to see you go. It's sad to see another legend go, but man, was he a legend. Alright, so now onto the main topic. And the main topic today is Dyson Spheres. So I am fully prepared to go on a tangent, and I likely will, but I'm just going to start looking at these articles I have pulled up and hopefully going somewhere, maybe going on some tangent, we'll see. So first of all, what is a Dyson Sphere? So a Dyson Sphere is a theoretical source of energy. Basically, quoting from Wikipedia, which I know isn't not always the best source, but Wikipedia is slowly becoming more and more credible. But a Dyson Sphere is a hypothetical megastructure that completely encompasses a star and captures a large percentage of its power output. So, yeah, where did this come from? So, the first document that we can see of a Dyson Sphere being theoreticized is in a book called Star Maker from 1937 by Olaf Stapledon. I very much could be butchering that name again. But yeah, and this was just a science fiction novel, and he described every solar system surrounded by a gauze of light traps which focused the escaping solar energy for intelligent use. This was later popularized by Freeman Dyson in his 1960 paper, Search for Artificial Stellar Sources of Infrared Radiation. And Dyson basically theorized, took the idea originally theorized by Olaf Stapledon, and he kind of, I guess, worked on, I don't know how to explain this, he like worked on it to the point where there's multiple different variants of a Dyson Sphere now. There's multiple ideas behind it. So basically, what scientists and what astronomers are doing right now is searching for Dyson Spheres. So now that we know the that this is theoretically possible. Many astronomers think that there are Dyson spheres out there, so that there are some sort of like power grid surrounding a star trying to capture all of that energy. Now, this ties in with aliens. Yes, it does. Everything kind of ties in with aliens if you're talking about space. But yeah, in 28, no, okay. When was this? Okay, in this one article, it says in recent years, astronomers explored that possibility with a bizarre star known to astronomers as KIC 8462852. And it's more popularly called Tabby Star for its discoverer, Tabitha. Oh my gosh, why does everybody have such a weird last name? OREAGano? I have no clue. I'm sorry. So basically, there was a strange light emitted by this star, and so people thought, astronomers thought, maybe there's a Dyson sphere on it. This was eventually discarded, but from this, people just like took off with it. Like, now people want more than ever to find an actual Dyson sphere. So in the novel Star Maker, what's basically explained is like a capsule, almost like a fully enclosed thing around a star that captures its energy. Now, this is actually said to be virtually impossible for many reasons, but what seems to be more possible, more plausible, more realistic is having a Dyson swarm, Dyson bubble, or Dyson or other Dyson types, so like a Dyson net, a bubble world, or a stellar engine. Goodness. So there are many variants of the Dyson sphere, and I'll just go into those real quick. So a Dyson swarm is like a ring surrounding the star. It's it consists of a large number of independent structures that orbit in a dense formation around the star. So it's like, it looks like a Saturn. It looks like a ring that you would see on Saturn or something like that. And then there's also the Dyson bubble, which seems to be one of the most popular options. And that is basically like multiple rings surrounding the star to make like a bubble and almost like a solid sphere around the star. Now, the Dyson shell is the one that a lot of people seem to come towards and has been thought to be almost impossible, or probably is, or just isn't realistic. And it's a solid shell, a solid encapsulation of the star. And then there's also other types of Dyson spheres, such as the Dyson net, which is a web of cables strung about the star that could have power or heat collection units strung between the cables. So I guess it's like a Dyson bubble, but they're connected. And then there's a bubble world, which is an artificial construct that consists of a shell of living space around a sphere of hydrogen gas. And a stellar engine, which are a class of hypothetical megastructures whose purpose is to extract useful energy from a star, sometimes for specific purposes. I'm not going to focus on the bubble world or the stellar engine because personally I don't really see how those tie into the rest of the Dyson spheres that much, but there's a lot of possibilities for this. So the reasoning behind people thinking about Dyson spheres and thinking about these happening is because as our civilization grows and becomes more technologically advanced, we need more energy. And our current energy sources are destroying our planet. Yes, they're destroying our planet. Yeah, wonderful. But I don't want to get into that. And so we need to find oh goodness, I keep hitting my mic, I'm sorry. We need to find other sources for energy, and one of them could be a Dyson sphere. Now, this very easily could be way, way down the road, but it's one thing to work towards. So basically, a Dyson sphere, as I've stated, it's something that encapsulates the star and it collects energy from the star. And the goal is to collect almost all of the energy from the star that is emitted from the star, I guess, and use it. The Dyson Sphere is one theoretical possibility to get a bunch of energy and a bunch of efficient energy. And another route that we could go is still looking for other Dyson Spheres, because other Dyson Spheres, or just a Dyson Sphere in general, I guess, because right now we don't know of one existing. If we find a Dyson Sphere, we can probably figure out, like, reverse engineer it and figure out how it works and figure out how to make one so that we can use that technology. So a few astronomers in 2013 were actually contemplating a new search strategy. Consider that if a system of solar power collectors, a megastructure, were put in place around a star, the star's light, as seen from our perspective, would be altered. Solar collectors would absorb and re-radiate energy from the star. Astronomers have spoken of seeking that re-radiated energy. I don't really know what re-radiated energy is. I'm not going to worry too much about that. But yeah, let's go towards that. Let's look for that. But yeah, all of this stuff is so interesting, and I think I'm definitely going to add this into my research project for English. So I have, I guess, two topics that I'm definitely going to research for my English project at this point, and that is Dyson Spheres and zero-point energy. And hopefully in next week's extended episode, I will talk about zero-point energy, or even sometime later this week, I'll talk about zero-point energy, because it's just something that's really, really cool. And I think having one of these focused research topics every day would be really cool. This really didn't take me long. I basically just have 2 tabs pulled up on Dyson Spheres. So yeah, I didn't read too much into it, but I basically just wanted to know what it was, and knowing what it is, I feel like I could figure out my own way for how it would be useful. And that's exactly what I want to do with my research project in general. And that is taking theoretical technology, or even just technology that hasn't really been applied much yet, and finding applications for that. So finding theoretical applications for Dyson Spheres and for zero-point energy, and finding other things to research on so I can add to my list. Yes. And just going off on that, because like I said, no longer does it matter what grade I get on this, because I'm not going to get a grade on this. All I'm getting is feedback. And I know right in this point in time that most of this, no one in my class is going to understand. Likely not even my English teacher. She has told us in the past that she is not a science person and she's not good at science. So this will likely confuse her. And okay, I'm just gonna say this real quick. One good way to get a good grade on an essay, and this has proven effective for me in several scenarios, is to find what your English teacher doesn't really understand, and especially if you understand that a lot, write about it. Include that jargon that is focused on that topic. And basically, yes, you will still get corrected for grammar mistakes and for content, but as for explanations and stuff, your teacher will likely not really know what you're talking about and just kind of give you a thumbs up and a smile and be like, yeah, that's good. I did this with a FRQ, I think it was. Or no, it was a DBQ, because I was in AP English last year. It was a DBQ that we were writing. It was like one of the first ones. And it talked about the fear of the unknown. And I just talked a lot about space. And I talked about space. I think I talked about atomic structures and chemistry, just kind of like the actual like unknown about atoms and stuff, and then genetics. And I just talked about those 3 things. And my teacher was like, it like wrote on my paper, I have no clue what any of this means, but it sounds good. So that's one way to like kind of fake your way into getting a good grade. I'm sorry to any English teacher out there that hates me for saying that, but I'm just saying it's one way to do it. But also, like, that kind of stuff that's really confusing to other people, I don't know why, but I just find it fascinating, because for me, I'm just like, I want to know why this is confusing, and I want to understand it, so I sound really smart when I start talking about it. And that's why I like nuclear chemistry. Like, I don't want to be a nuclear chemist. I don't want to put myself at risk in that way. But nuclear chemistry is really fascinating to me. And also all of this unknown stuff with space and all of this theoretical stuff with space, that's really interesting to me. And even like the theoretical possibilities and applications of genetics and what we could possibly do with genetics down the road. And if you know me in real life, you know that I am a genetics freak. I know way too much about genetics for my own good, and all I seem to ever talk about is genetics. And I'm sorry if you know me and are close to me and you just hear my genetic jargon all the time. I'm very, very sorry. But it's just me wanting to explore the unknown and to make the unknown known. And that's what I want to do in life, is make the unknown known. So maybe that means I'm going more down the science route for a career, but you never know. I can probably figure out a way to explore the unknown with music, unknown sound waves. I don't know. I don't know if I've mentioned this on this podcast, but I am like one of the worst people to talk to about physics, because I don't know much about physics. And then here I am with a sticky note, with several sticky notes that have 0 point energy listed on them, and 0 point energy is a theoretical like physics application kind of. So I'm gonna hit a bunch of brick walls when I'm researching that, just because I really don't know much about physics, and I personally don't enjoy sitting in a physics class, because I'm like, yeah, gravity makes things fall to ground, and that's about it. But chemistry and biology, those are my classes, I guess. I don't like environmental science. I never liked it. I'm like, yeah, it's a plant. What about it? But biology and chemistry, and even biochemistry, like all of those, I just love it so much. So I'm probably going to go down that route for a career and end up being some sort of biochemical freak. I could biochemically engineer myself and make myself a literal biochemical freak. Yes, that's my goal in life now. That's definitely my goal in life. Is to make myself my own biochemical freak. Alright, so getting off of that, I think I'll just talk a little bit about my day to kind of close this up. And yeah, my day has been very boring. I did my daily training in SSO. Love that. I actually cuddled with my guinea pigs a little bit. That was nice. They smell very bad and I need to clean out the cage. So yep. But it's been weird because I have been wanting less and less to be on the computer, which I think that's good for me, because as long as I want to be on the computer, I'm going to be on the computer. But also very early in the morning, I guess, because it was like 2, 3, 4 a.m. I was playing Stardew Valley for the first time. Yes, great time to start playing Stardew Valley with a friend, and I just realized how likely it is I have ADHD. I have not been diagnosed with ADHD, but me and my friend that I was playing with are both just like, yeah, I probably have ADHD at this point, because I could not focus on anything. Like, I was telling myself in my head every morning in the game, like every new day, water my plants, water my plants, water my plants. And I still wouldn't water my plants. Like, I couldn't remember to water my plants. And I was so chaotic. Like, I was following townspeople around and like constantly clicking on things. Like, I was just clicking on random crap. And yes, this was my first time playing Stardew Valley. And yes, I was exploring, but I really was just bugging the crap out of all the townspeople. That's all I was doing. So hopefully eventually I'll be able to talk to some sort of mental health counselor so I can try and get this figured out, because that's ADHD doesn't explain all of my problems. I will go ahead and say that. But yeah, I think with that note, I will end this here. Thank you to anyone and everyone for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and leave any suggestions that you have for any possible topics down in the comments down below. I love hearing what other people want to hear about in this sort of thing. Yeah. But I guess with that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!